Okay, so looks like we'll go ahead and get things started here. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in. My name is Vince, and I just want to welcome you to this presentation of the best webinar series brought to you by Novedge, Design Software Superstore. I want to thank all of you out there for tuning in, joining us today as we transition from 2D to 3D with Vectorworks Architect. We're excited not only to present Vectorworks, but to have Wes Garner on board with us presenting and showing us the fine details of Vectorworks. Just a little background on Wes. He's an architect who joined Nemetschek Vectorworks as an architecture industry specialist in 2007. He advises the Vectorworks product development team by leveraging his BIMS expertise and building product and architectural intelligence. He has also worked directly with the Vectorworks user community to overcome everyday challenges, encourages BIM workflows, and presents features and tips to help users maximize productivity and efficiency. So needless to say, he is truly an expert, and we're really blessed to have him on board. Wes is going to speak for the next 40 minutes or so. During that time, everyone will be in listen-only mode, but please feel free to shoot your questions into the question box. At the end, we'll open it up for a Q&A, and we'll get to as many questions as time allows. We will be recording this webinar, and details on where you can find it and where it will be made available will all be given to you guys afterwards. For those of you who have questions about the coupon that we're offering through this webinar, I'll give you all the details about that at the end when I wrap things up. Having said all that, I don't want to waste any more time here. I think I'll just go ahead and turn over to Wes. Wes, are you there?
I am here. Thank you, Vince.
Cool. I'm going to switch the screen to you, and we'll go ahead and get things going.
All right.
And there we go.
So everyone, I suspect, can see my screen now.
Um,
No? Yes?
it's loading. It's taking a second here.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Nice. Okay, yeah.
So we're good to go now?
Yep.
Okay. So let's jump right on into Vectorworks. I'm sure a lot of you, those who use the program anyway, will recognize this workspace. By the way, this is the architect workspace.
Wes, can I jump in real quick here?
Sure.
The audio is a little too quiet. Is there anything you could do on your end to turn it up a little?
Let me see. Can I talk louder? Is that okay?
That might help, yeah.
Okay. This really is about all I can get out of my my mic. Everything seems to be. Let me get into my system preferences and see if I can run the sound up. How about that? Does that help?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Let's see. I don't want to max it out, but hopefully
Yeah.
that will help. Is that better?
Yeah, that's 100% better. Thanks.
Okay, great. I guess that control somehow reset itself. Macs have a tendency to do things, like that. Anyway, here is the Vectorworks workspace, and like I said, I'm in the architect workspace. These are one of the things that you can change depending on how you want to view your tool sets. I have this tricky one here called Mine for Duals, and all that means is that when I draw on two monitors, which I typically do, I shove all the palettes over to the smaller monitor, so I have a great big workspace. So that's all there is with this. The other ones sort of speak to the other modules we have: Fundamentals, Landmark, Designer, of course, and Spotlight down here at the bottom. So that's something a little bit about the workspace. Like I said, you can customize Vectorworks. If you like certain keystrokes, et cetera, feel free to customize it any way you want. A little bit about organization. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but in Vectorworks we draw in layers and classes, and typically the way I explain that is I place something in a class and on a layer. For instance, the kitchen sink would be in the plumbing fixtures class and on the first floor layer. Layers have elevational implications, typically in architecture. I would want to think of my layer settings like I sort of think of as floors in a building or stories or levels, such that the floor-to-floor would be set at, let's say, 12 feet, and that would be what my first floor layer would be set at. And we'll get into what all that means here in a bit. Let's see, we also, for folks coming from AutoCAD, we have design layers which equate to model space in AutoCAD, and sheet layers that equate to paper space. So you would do your drawing in design layers, and you would present or print out or PDF or whatever on your sheet layers. And we do that using viewport technology, which I think by now most people are somewhat familiar with. So let's talk a little bit about, I know I get a question occasionally about developing office standards. And I just want to spend a couple of seconds kind of going through how you would use. Vectorworks does ship with a number of standard configurations, and I just want to touch kind of on this. So you get to that through the File, Document Settings, Standard Namings pull down, whereupon you can select, let's say if you were going to go and use the AIA recognized standards, you'd select AIA. And here would be your listing of standards that you would get for mainly the class settings. So I just wanted to touch on that. I know that's a question that comes up occasionally. It also is true for the design layer settings and sheets and viewports as well. So let's, without further ado, switch on over to some actual 2D drawing. And I'm just going to use my I kind of call this, in Vectorworks, this is saved views. I think of saved views as the class and layer manager. And what that really means is that in a saved view you can have a set of layers and a set of classes turned on sort of automatically for you by saving the view. And views can be like this you see here. This is just a plan view of a 2D drawing, and you could save that as one view. You could then save perspective views, et cetera, et cetera. In this particular set, since I'm talking mainly about 2D right now, there really are no 3D attributes other than if I switch to like a 3D view here, you'll see I just used a keyboard command to do that. You'll see that all of my 2D line work really is on the layer plane. And there are very few 3D attributes in this drawing. You can see some of the doors and windows, of course, have 3D attributes because I'm using them down the road when I create my door and window schedules. So let's take a look a little further with drawing in 2D. By the way, I certainly welcome everybody and to draw in 2D. And the only thing I would ask that if you do so, that you use the wall tool and the door and window tools, particularly in architecture. And the reason for that, of course, is doors and windows want to exist in a wall, so they sort of, they're, you know, I can pull a window out here. They're sort of self-healing. When you stick a window in a wall, it's sort of automatically placed, if you will. Another good reason for using doors and windows, like I touched on, is you know, the automated door and window schedule. You can get the data out of your model. And you can also set up your wall styles so that you, even though you are drawing in 2D, you get an accurate representation of the actual wall. For instance, this particular wall is a 2x6 wall, and it has drywall on the inside and sheathing and siding on the outside. We can, let's see, we'll take a look at the sheet layers that I've created for this particular set of drawings. What I want to do, anything above the little gray line here, light gray line, is a sheet layer. And if I go to like the first floor plan, what we'll see is, if I zoom out, you can see that this is now that first floor plan like we were looking at in design layers. This is now a sheet layer, and it has, you know, a title block and a sheet border. And what I've done within the viewport, if I click on this, we can clearly see in the object info palette that this is a viewport. And I have done something that we call class overrides to make my walls look the way I want them to. For instance, if I go back to the design layer, we can see that I've got this sort of blue hatch, etc., going on in my walls, but for clarity's sake, when I actually print the drawing, I might not want that. So now I'm just going back to the sheet layer, and what I've done is in the class structure of the viewport, let me scroll down a little bit, you can see these sort of blue tags here. That's where I've actually overridden that class and asked it to look a different way. We can also, for example, let's say if I'm building the reflected ceiling plan now I'm back in a design layer, and here are all of my can lights. So let's go to the reflected ceiling plan that would actually be printed, and you can see here now I've got the blue sort of poche turned on here, as I've just overridden the class structure. Here it is, existing finish, and I've just I've turned it on, or actually I've turned that one off. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's how to get your drawing to look differently as you go through the various drawings that make up a drawing set. We'll go here to the furniture plan of the same project, and you can see now I've got black poche turned on, and once again I've just done that with the class overrides of the particular viewport. Keep in mind that this does not affect the model in the least. All you're doing is getting this particular view to look different. This set of drawings was developed sort of using the old style method, if you will, of drawing in 2D. I can show you what that means. I've got the elevations that were generated from the plan view. This will take a second to load because there's a fair amount of data going on here. And I did colorize some of these sections and elevations to make them look a little more presentable. So anyway, this would be the elevations that were taken right from that plan, and you can see over here this is sort of the old school, if you will, methodology of laying the plan, you know, under your elevation and then pulling lines up to develop your sections as well as your elevations. And of course, this is it's a little bit outdated in that if you're modeling in 3D, let's say, of course, the plans and the sections and elevations are all linked. So if you make a change in your model, which invariably happens, all the sections and elevations would update. which of course won't happen here. This is all pretty much line work. So let's go back here to my plan view here. What I do want to show you is that even though this is strictly a 2D set, I have used some of the more advanced BIM, if you will, capabilities in that you can see this room tag, and if I click on it, what you'll see is that it's not just a text label. It is a space, and what the space tag allows, or space tool allows, is all kinds of data can be attached to it. And in fact, if I scroll down here in the object info palette, you can see down here near the bottom, assign room finish. So I can actually assign finishes to this particular room, which I've done here. You can see all the walls have, half-inch drywall or gypboard. We've got a painted base, a little bit of carpet, and the ceiling, of course, is gypboard as well. And what I can do is I can run a report on this and actually come up with a room finish schedule, which I'll do. If I go to reports, VA just stands for Vectorworks Architect, VA create schedule, and I'll get a little dialog box where I have a pull down or a scroll down where I can go to room finish schedule, and I'll pick that and say, yep, okay to that. And I'll just place this here in my drawing. So what we have here is the room schedule that has that's connected with the drawing. So if I change anything in either place, one will be updated. For instance, I've left out a room name here in this back hall. Well, what I could do is just duplicate one of these names here, I think, yeah. Come on over here, and I'll place it there, and I'll call this back hall. And if we go back here to the finish schedule, we can see if I hit recalculate that it will add the back hall down here at the bottom of the schedule. Now, of course, I'll have to get in there and include or insert my finishes. All I have to do is click on that label and once again go down here to assign room finishes, and I could go ahead and assign them, and then they'd appear there in the schedule. So that's as far as drawing in 2D. That's another reason to use some of Vectorworks' sort of built-in sophisticated tools where you can actually get data from your plan onto either sections, elevations, or schedules, such as that this room finish schedule or a door and window schedule. So now let's talk a little bit about 3D, and I'm going to not save my work here, and we'll switch over to some three-dimensional stuff. That'll take that a second to load. What you're seeing here are two walls, and they look pretty similar. However, there are some subtle differences in them. This particular wall is, let me get the object info palette here. This is a Vectorworks wall sort of right out of the box. And what that means is I have just selected it from the style pull down where we ship with, several wall styles that are pre-configured. And they come with all of the data attached and are kind of ready to go. And here's the wall style. So the trick here for me anyway is that this particular wall style, the texturing is is being controlled by the actual wall style. And you can see here in my resource browser, this is the wall that we're talking about right now, or the wall style. And if I right-click, which you of course can't see me right-click, but you just have to trust me that I am, brings up the editing menu where I can get into creating or editing this particular wall style. And what we'll see is if I click on any of these components, let's say the brick veneer, for instance, I'll double-click on that. And you can see that all of the data is included here, where we can choose a texture, et cetera, et cetera. We can define the line weights and kind of how the wall will look. And what this is really doing is it's controlling the look and feel of this particular wall by the wall style. Of course, all the data is included that would be sort of valuable if you were going to share this model, or if you needed to get this data and pass it on as far as creating material takeoffs, et cetera. All the data's here, the R value, U value, et cetera, et cetera. But let's take a look at this other wall here that looks very similar to this one. And here is its wall style. And what I've created this one, and I've called it optimized 2x6 brick veneer. And I'll show you why I consider it optimized by right-clicking and getting into the edit menu. And we'll see that it basically looks very similar to that other wall. Here's the difference. If I click on one of the components, we'll pick the brick veneer again. What I'm doing here is controlling everything by class. To me, this really makes a set of drawings much more flexible. As I work through all of the plan views, details, et cetera, I can control the look and feel of all of my walls and other components by the class structure in Vectorworks. You can see that everything has been tagged to use class attributes. And what that means is merely if I want to change the, let's say, the look of this brick on the outside, I can go up here to the class structure and I will pick my wall component veneer brick class and I'll choose another component. Let's say this brick that looks a little rougher, and I'll just say OK. And we'll see when it re-renders that now the brick here looks a little rougher than this one. This is all controlled by the texture. I can show you a little bit about how to modify that texture. I basically took this brick texture and added some bump to it. And if I right-click here on the texture, I can show you a little bit about how I quote, bumped it up. And I basically took, this is the texture editor in Vectorworks. I basically added bump, and if you click on this, you get a choice of none, which was the original, and then I added something called noise, and I have the selection here of what kind of noise, and you have a whole slew of different noise patterns to add to your particular texture. And you can see the strength setting is set to 100. Maybe that's a little too rough, so if we wanted to tone it down some, I'll go maybe half of that and say OK. And you can see that in my preview, I'm getting a little smoother looking brick. And then, of course, if I jump out of here, you can see that the brick is, in truth, a little smoother. So that's just a quick way to take one of our stock, if you will, textures and modify it to kind of give you that personal look and feel of products and materials that you want. I've created a few other ones. These EIFS colors could be used for stucco or EIFS or drive it, I think is a common trade name. So I've created a few of them that I use in projects a lot. You can also download textures from other sources. This old bricks 2 texture I downloaded from Arrowway, and of course if I wanted to apply that to my brick wall, I'd get back in here into the component space of the editing menu and click on old brick and say give me an old brick texture, and that's what it would look like. You can get into the texture like I talked about and increase the size of the brick. You can add more bump or roughness, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just a little bit about how to configure your walls in Vectorworks. When I'm drawing in 3D, a couple of things to remember: that we are designing with objects. We are not drawing with lines and arcs and rectangles. And another sort of trick or hint is to class everything. So each of these components within the wall lives in its own class. And that really gives me the ultimate control over how the drawing will look from when I'm actually building it or designing the building right on through to when I actually take my drawings in to get permit, or I do presentations for the clients. I can certainly have the drawings look any way I want, and I do that once again by classing everything. So let's also look at, I want to show you a little bit about framing members as well. We'll clear some of these palettes out of the way. Let me pull the resource browser down here. If I was to frame a building, let's say, I might want to use some framing members. So here's one. I'll just stretch out a framing member here, and if I click on it, I can see that the, let me go to a 3D view so you can see this in 3D. We can see that the default is a solid beam, and here is the size of it. Let's say, for instance, I needed something like an eye joist, or there's a company called TGI, Truss Joist International, that I like mainly because they have a very, very nice website where you can get span table information very easily. So I've modeled up a couple of symbols here that are just 2D, it's just 2D line work that I can now use as a framing member. And you can do that simply by the type, which is the default as solid beam. I can say, give me a custom profile. And it will default to this, this lovely shape, which is a double T for, oh, I don't know, you use them a lot in parking garages, etc. But that's not what I want. I want an eye joist. So I can simply click right here, choose profile symbol, and I will select something in my drawing. Let's say a, I don't know, 11 7/8 TJI, and I'll say OK. And so here's my custom symbol for my framing member. And what I can do then is, as far as the BIM components of Vectorworks, you might want to do some material takeoffs. So I've got a, let me scroll down here. I've got a pre-configured material takeoff maker, if you will, or listing that I can will count the types and numbers and lengths of my floor joists. So if I duplicated this, let's say, and moved it 16 inches or something, when I recalculate my worksheet, you can see that there's two of them. I could include a cost component, so it would actually tell me how much each one of these things costs. Certainly, if you change the length or something like that, the length would appear here as a different value. So that's just another way that you can create material takeoffs from Vectorworks objects. And I made this worksheet simply by going up to Tools, and I created a report, which is right here, Create Report. And I can just pick that it's a framing member. And that's how I went about creating that report from a worksheet. So that's pretty simple and straightforward, don't you think? Let's see, other 3D elements. We covered the walls pretty well. There's some framing members here that we've looked at. Let's look at some space objects, and I'll go and open another file here. I won't save. Let's look at what I call space plan here. Take a second for this file to open, which it will do. And I did touch a little bit on spaces in the 2D discussion. Yes, you can use them for room names. Certainly, I would recommend it, since you can then create finish schedules, et cetera, et cetera. You can get a lot of information out of the space tool. Such as area, takeoffs, volume, etc. This particular building that here's a rendered view of it. I started doing a sort of space plan for this building. This is a wireframe view of it, and we'll go down here to the first floor. And what you'll see here, basically, if we go to a top plan view, is a layout of some spaces where this would be, premium retail. We'd have, a circulation corridor down the middle, and we'd have some retail here, some office spaces maybe, premium retail B, maybe not quite as valuable. Let me go to a 3D view here. And we'll look at some of the spaces. Let me get my object info palette here. So if I click on a space, you can see that it is a space. It will give you area, both net and gross. I have not assigned any 3D attributes to the spaces yet, but I certainly can. Just by clicking on Show in 3D. In fact, if I go to OpenGL, let's say, we'll render this thing for a second, and we'll see what it looks like here. Oh, I've got that black background on. Okay. So let me use my Select Similar tool, which is the magic wand tool. So if I click here, it's going to choose all of the spaces for me. And I will basically say, show these in 3D. So let's see what happens when we show the spaces in 3D. What I've done here is assign some heights to the spaces. This particular one, as you can see here, it's reading a ceiling height of 24 feet. That will give me volumetric information when we create a report, and I'll do that for you in a second. This would be like a double height space, let's say, with a nice interior stair in it. These other spaces, we'll click on one of these and we'll see that their ceiling heights are a little less. They're 16 feet. The corridor, it has a little lower ceiling height since you don't really need it. Ceiling height of 10 feet. Maybe the HVAC would run right down the middle here over the top of the ceiling. So let's go and create a report for these spaces. And I can do that strictly, let's see, easily by going to Reports, Create Report, and I'll choose Space, among other things. And first I'm just going to remove, right here is a great big huge list that would be included in that report, but we don't need all of those. What we really are looking for is maybe the space number, the space name. When I do space number, I got to remember to add it to the list. Custom space name, and I'll add it to the list. And then maybe we'll look at, I don't know, maybe net area. So I'll add that to the list. And then we talked about volume as well. So I can select net volume. And I'll add that to the list. So here's what the report will be based on: the space name, the number, and the area and the volume. And if I say OK, you can see that it creates this worksheet. And I can expand the worksheet a little bit. If I hold on a Macintosh, if I hold my Option key down, I can use my wheel scroll button to scroll in and out of the worksheet, so I can make it a little bigger. And let's say we really haven't sorted these. They're not in any order right now, so let's say we wanted to sort them high to low. Basically what I would do is get into this line here, which is the database header row of the worksheet. And when I do that, I can then select one of these little icons, and I'm basically going to sort it from high to low just by dropping it on this column. So you can see that it automatically does that. So we have room number 100 through 111. And then the additional information is, area.
Wes, are you there?
I am.
Your mic's cutting out a little bit. I don't know if something.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like fuzzy and staticky. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I've had that problem before, and I just never really have been able to solve it. Is it better or not?
No, it's about the same. I don't know. Maybe try replugging it in or something.
I can try that, but if I lose you altogether, I guess I need to apologize for our equipment. Let me try that and see what happens.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be right back. How about now?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, if you could just turn it up a little bit like you did last time.
Okay.
I think it'd be perfect.
Great. Let me get back in here. Oh yeah, see it defaults to way down there. How about that? Is
Perfect.
that better?
Yep, cool. Thank you.
Great. Sorry about that. I'm not certain what happens to these USB mics. I guess sometimes go on the fritz. Anyway, we were creating this little bit of a report here that I'm creating from the spaces in the drawing. And you can show that certainly if I go back over here to my object info palette, to my resource browser and choose show on drawing, it'll do that. Worksheet on drawing. And there we have it. So it's in a class. That's why. Oh, let's change that so it isn't purple. There we go. There we have our worksheet that's based on our spaces. And of course, keep in mind if I changed one of these spaces, I'm going to click on this retail space, let's say, and I wanted to change the ceiling height, let's say, down to 10 feet. It's, let's say, room 105. We can see that room 105 would then recalculate its volume since I reduced the ceiling height. So the worksheets and the spaces are connected to the model. So let's see. Finally, I think I have enough time to work in one more feature. Let's look at slabs and how they link to walls. I'll close up this file, and we'll go and open a slab file. In this particular little building, as soon as it pulls up the drawing, yes, this is a little two-story building, and we need to create a second floor slab in here. As we can look through the building, here's the first floor in plan, and here is the second floor. Once again, I'm using my saved views as my class and layer manager to go through and toggle on the classes that I want to see and off the ones that I don't. So we will go here to what I call build to, which just means I'm going to work on the second floor of the building. And I'm going to go to a 3D view. You can do that, by the way, here as well. I'm just using my numeric keypad to sort of go through the model. It's a little quicker than having to go to these pull-down views, but you certainly can do that. And you can see here we're on the second floor of the building. The bar joists are all in place. So let's go and take a look inside what we might see. I think what we've got is the interior of this little building. Everything's ready to go. Bar joists are all set, but there's no slab. So let's go back here to my build slab save view, if I will, and we'll put a slab in this building. And we do that by going to the building shell toolset and choosing slab. And now we just need to go around and pick all of the surrounding walls, and I'll show you why we do this. Is these walls are going to be the slab's going to be bounded by these walls. So when I pick all the perimeter walls, I can just say OK. And Vectorworks will create a slab, which it's done. And if I click on it right here, you can see that there's the slab. Let me go to OpenGL here so you can see it a little more clearly. Of course, it's white because that's the default, so maybe we'll give it a little texture so you can see it. So there's our slab, and it's bounded by the walls. And what that means, if we look here in the Object Info palette, we can see that it is an unstyled slab, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And we can see that the bounding is auto-bounded. And what that means is if through the design of the building, if we needed to move a wall, for instance, that when I move the wall, the slab will stretch with it. So that is what that auto-bounding feature means, is that the slab is bound to the walls. And I'm just going to say undo here and undo there to get back to the original model. Now, what we need to do, I think, is change this slab a little bit. Since it is unstyled, what we want to do is create a slab, or actually a floor system for this particular building, and I'm going to do that by selecting a slab style. Right now, it defaults to unstyled. And I'm just going to, this is very similar to changing the style of a wall. So I'm going to go to replace, and we'll get a little dialog box that says, well, what do you want to replace it with? And once again, we're going to choose one of these floor styles. Vectorworks ships with a few that are pre-configured. Once again, all of the ones that are above the gray line are being used in this particular file. You can see I've got a floor system and a floor assembly and a floor assembly for the basement, and then a slab exterior. I'm going to pick the floor assembly and say OK. And Vectorworks will quickly change that floor or that slab to the floor assembly style. And if we go to a sectional view, which is, this is a sheet layer. Everyone should be familiar probably with those. We can see that if I update the section here, we can see that the slab that I chose has been created and placed at the proper elevation. And this is all automated within Vectorworks nowadays, in that you will get, now the section's up to date, through the slab and the wall configurations, I can get these joints to occur automatically just by selecting the proper wall style. In the slab style, if I select the proper offset, and I'll show you where you can do that. You can get this sort of linking, if you will, to occur. So let's go back here to Build 2, and I'll click on the slab. And we'll go here to the slab style in the resource browser. And if I right-click on it, if I go to Edit, we can see that here are the various components within the slab. And this is where I set that offset. So I can have it link with the particular elements within the wall. And as you can see, the floor covering is set to go to the outer face of the inner component. And in builder speak, if you will, all that means is that the floor covering is going to slip under the drywall, like it probably would be. So that's how you can set up a slab, set up a particular slab style, and have it integrate with the wall style that you choose for your building. And with that, I'm probably, let's see, I'm probably reaching close to being complete. I guess, Vince,
Yep.
if we want to entertain some questions,
Yeah,
I'm certainly open.
Let's jump into a couple here. Just a quick one about the last demo, the slab demo. How were you able to put those baseboards on the walls?
Oh, that baseboard is an extrude along path. And if let's see, I probably don't have that class turned on in this particular view. But basically you create it from, let's see, where am I? I need to find the, well, I can just do it here. If I go back here to Model Interior, that is, if I click on it, if we look here in the Object Info palette, it is an extrude along path, like I was saying. And what you do is create in 2D. I can just do one for you really quickly. let's say this was the profile of the piece we wanted to use as the base. I could define any closed polygonal shape can be your profile, and then let's say this was the room in which I wanted the profile to go around, if you will. If I pick both of them, right, and then go to model, extrude along path, I'll then get a dialog asking me, well, which one do you want to be the path, which object, and it turns it red. Well, I don't want that one. I want that one to be the path. And if I just say OK, it's going to place that shape along the path that I drew. And it's just as simple as that.
Okay, cool.
I hope that answered that question.
Yeah, I think that was good. Let's jump into another one here. Is the texture map and wall style also available without Renderworks?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. I need to clarify one thing. Is what you're seeing is Designer with Renderworks. So in all fairness to anyone, although I have my workspace set to the architect workspace, some of the tools you see here may be in Designer. And I just have to say, I'm sorry, I forgot all about that. I should have set up an entire workspace just for architect. But yeah, to do the texture mapping, you do need Renderworks.
Okay, cool. How does the overall class of a wall relate to the component classes?
The overall class of the wall. Let's see. Let's go back here. I'll give you a quick overview here. This particular wall, let's say that I've clicked on, is in the wall exterior class. So that is sort of the container class, if you will, for the wall. And then all of the individual components within that wall are controlled like we were looking at by the individual components in the wall style. So, and these are all controlled by the class, or that's the way I set my drawings up, is to class everything, so I have that, individual control of all the elements.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. Can you bound slabs to a series of walls that are not in the same layer?
No. In fact, the slab need for it to be linked and to have that auto-bounding feature work, the slab has to be created in the same layer that the walls exist on. You can then move it and it will stay auto-bounded, but that's when upon creation, that's where you got to create it.
Okay, cool. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. In the TJI worksheet you showed earlier, what is the formula for the count column?
It is, if you get into a worksheet, let me just pull one out here. We'll just get into this one real quickly. If I go into the database header row, I'm going to use that option key to kind of zoom in a little bit here so we can see this a little better. If I go into my database header row, right, here are the individual formulas for each of these columns. All you do is create a new column and put in equals count. That's all you need, and it'll count the various components.
Okay, cool. So let's just get to two more quick ones here. Here's Diane is asking, she does renovations and is wondering if there's a better way to show existing demos and new walls.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time. What I like to do, typically in residential, when I do a project, I draw my demo walls within the project. In commercial, a lot of times you do an actual demo plan separate from your construction plan. But in residential, I know typically that we include everything right in one drawing. And what I do is I create a particular class for demo walls, which typically would be dashed and with no poché, no hatch work. So it would just look like, you know, two dashed lines, two parallel dashed lines with no poché in it. And I would put that on a class called Walls Demo or something like that.
Okay, cool. How do you wall join the adjoining ends of two curved wall segments in plain view? And then I guess the second part of that question, and can a door or window be placed in the area that overlaps the wall joint portion of a wall?
No, it cannot. Well, it can, but you have to, there's some, let's draw out a wall here. And if I go to I'm in a front view now, and if I go to the wall, and if I go to the 3D modeling tool palette, I can actually choose 3D reshape, and I can go up here and I'm going to add a node, and what that allows me to do is create something that might be suitable for adding a door right at the whoops. I just need to add another node here. So I could add, you know, I could put a door, you know, halfway in this wall and halfway in the adjoining wall. It will not automatically allow that. It doesn't know what to do. It thinks that, you know, it's asking, you know, which segment of the wall do you want the door to live in, and since you want it right in the middle where the joint happens, it won't do either. So this is the way to actually do that, is to create those nodes and get the wall to actually go up and around the door.
Okay,
and you can do that in you can, I'm sorry, you can do that in round walls or straight walls.
Oh, okay, cool. So I think we're gonna call it there. So apologize to anyone out there who didn't get their question answered. Just for the sake of time, I think we're gonna have to wrap things up here. I'm gonna switch the screen back over to me, and we'll give you guys some additional info about where to find this webinar, the recording of this webinar online. So again, I want to thank Wes. I'm sure everyone out there found that as fascinating as I did. And I want to thank all of you guys for attending this presentation of Novedge's Best of the Best webinar series. Just a little background on us on Novedge in case you're unfamiliar. We're the leading online design software superstore. Not only do we have the best prices around, but our staff is extremely awesome. You can call, chat with us at any time. We'd love to hear from you guys. For those of you who saw this coupon on our website, we are having $300 off the list price for all of you who attended this webinar. So if you're looking to purchase Vectorworks, you will get an email within the next 24 hours with the coupon if you're interested. It's sort of a take it or leave it type deal. Feel free to call us or email us if you have any questions about how the coupon works. Another bit of information I'd like to draw your attention to is vectorworking. Here at Novedge, we love to go above and beyond for the design community. In doing so, we've created several communities to foster the collaboration and communication between design professionals. One such community, you can see it on your screen there, is Vectorworking. It's basically the one-stop shop for all Vectorworks users. We have the latest information, trends, news, videos, tutorials, all things Vectorworks. This webinar will be made available there, so you can view it there. And additionally, it'll be made available on our website if you wish to view it there. So yeah, I mean, having said all that, Wes, is there anything you want to add real quick before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. I do know that we are running a rendering competition, and entries have to be posted by the 19th, so we don't have very much longer. So I know we've got a lot of very good renderings already submitted, but you know, certainly we welcome others. Those drawn in both Vectorworks and Cinema 4D. I invite everyone to submit your renderings. You can find that on our website at www.vectorworks.net.
Yep, I'm familiar with the contest. I think we have actually a blog post about it on Vectorworking too, so you can get it both ways. Yeah. So again, thank you, Wes. Thank all of you for attending, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Vince. Bye-bye.